Oh shoot, something fell on my head. And here's that. And here it is. Here it is. Right here. Tell me if the bit gets old when I pretend like I hurt my finger every time I hit the slate board. I don't think it does. And I'm not gonna stop. Guess what? Alyssa's back.
Hi,
My love.
my love.
Hello today.
Hello today. How are you?
Good, good, good. Great moment. I was thinking about it earlier, and I was thinking, you know, when they say like when you hear people like when you hear people like reminisce about like the best days of their life, and they talk about like, oh, I was in my prime. You should have saw me. I was in my prime. I was doing this and I was doing that, and I was strong and I was fast and I was handsome and I was this and I was that and I was in great shape. I feel like I've been that for the last 5 years, maybe, but I think the most within the last 3 years for sure.
I love
Does that
that.
make sense?
It does. It does. And I mean, I feel the same way. Um, especially just with mindset and growth. Um, I think you've warmed me up, you know? Um,
You should have saw me. I was in my prime. You should have saw me.
you should have saw me.
Lots of guys say that to me all the time. They're like, "Oh, I used to be in good shape like you. I used to have hair like yours." Like people always do that constantly. I mean, not just to me, but I'm saying
Mm,
at me, really.
right. I mean, what makes me feel good to know that you felt that a tiny bit extra. I'll take a little bit of credit for that, just a little bit, if I
Okay,
may.
you may,
Yeah. Um,
yeah, totes may,
and, and
Maggie may,
Maggie May, and uh, uh, and then I'll
Maggie
seg
may.
Maggie May, and then I'll segue to uh, the the soon to be coming episode, whenever that will be, is when you have a chat with one of my coaches, because I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have been that domino effect without her for sure. So just a lot of growth and learning experiences, and
Let's sigh.
less sigh, um, and just overcoming obstacles. What a fantastic year it's been.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, where do we
Been so,
start?
uh, dude. It's been it's so corny, like because like I don't publicly like to talk about how happy I am. Like not like how happy I am in the fact that I won't share it, but like uh, it's like I'll be buzzing. You know what I mean? I'll be buzzing from it. And even like last night when I was telling you about how like I I was getting like goosebumps from from you singing, and I was like even to kind of try to talk about it with you, I was getting a little choked up to talk about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I ever really talk like that, like on stuff about uh how much joy I've got right now, how much joy we've got for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. I mean, yeah, I get choked up too, and I think about it, and it's funny that you bring up, like, you don't like talking about how happy you are, and for
Well, it's
me,
not that I don't like
well,
talking about it, it's just that I don't talk about it. I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
but why don't you like
I
talking
do
about
like to talk about it. It's just there's it's like if I talk about it, that might be the thing I get stuck on, only talking about that, not talking about other things. It's not that like I'm embarrassed or anything, because I'm for sure not.
it? No, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with being in that and liking to express it, especially around those that are supportive of you and us. I can count a few friends that
Well,
do
I talked
not
to Lou
mind.
about it. I talked to
Yeah,
Lou about it. I talked to Chris about it. I talked to Dylan about it. Like that. That's my like immediate circle. I
yeah,
mean, of course, I talked to Rich and Matt and like
yeah,
just like my closest circle of friends for sure.
yeah. Hmm.
But it's not something I'm talking about uh, publicly very often.
I've learned that it's okay to talk about it publicly, and that kind of energy is going to be, adored and loved. And if it's not for whatever reason, that's a them problem. Like
Mhm.
that's something that, people like maybe wish they had, or whatever kind of negative feelings. That's just a reflection of them. And I've definitely noticed that so many people just enjoy who we are, separately and together. Even strangers, like meeting us for the first time, they're like, wow, you guys are a vibe. And I'm like, yeah, like, thank you for recognizing. And I don't believe I've had a relationship where I felt safe enough to do that, or I felt safe enough to do it and know that nothing would change. Because I used to do that in other relationships just because who I am. I just love to talk about how happy I am and, show appreciation in that way. And there would always be a tiny voice in the back of my head going, you sure? Sure you
I
are.
think the fear of being invalidated in
Mhm.
your feelings
Mhm.
could prevent you from kind of speaking publicly about it. And for sure, there's no way that anyone could invalidate it because it's my feelings and they can't take them from me. Like
Mhm.
I for sure get that, but I also live inside of I already know I already know people have a tendency to kind of be a little bit jealous,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't want to. I almost feel braggy. You know what I mean? I almost feel like, wow, look at all this. I got all this, and I got a mega great relationship. You know what I mean? Like it's like a pile on brag, and I don't mean to do that for sure.
No.
And I constantly say, if I wasn't me, and if I was somebody else who was like looking in on me, going like, oh man, that guy, man, man, screw that guy. Like I get it. I get it. I'd hate me too if I was somebody else besides me. Like I'd
Mhm.
want to be me so bad I'd hate me for it. But I can't live like that for sure.
Oh,
That's not my
no.
brand. Uh, that's not my sort of
Well,
vibe.
that's something that I learned in coaching, is that it's okay to brag. Like, if you're not your own cheerleader, who's that's like the number one thing. Like love yourself, like be about yourself. And it's not about other people anymore. It's just you loving yourself and what you do and loving what you have, and like just putting it out there, because the world needs more of that too. Like, you know, there's so much negativity and toxicity out there that's always being shared and commented on. And you know so when it comes to something as pure as like two people really caring about each other and are just so in love with each other, and you know don't care, like it's something to be seen. And I've noticed, at least in my friends and followers, that they really just enjoy us together. And
Hmm.
um and I was always brought up by people to believe that, oh well, don't share the good stuff, that because
Hmm.
people evil people are going to put the maloiks on you or whatever. And I learned that that's not necessarily always true. And even if
Malurks.
malurks, or even if there are people that feel some kind of way, there's so much more of the good energy, that I'm always divinely protected,
Hmm.
and so are you. And that we can just be in our little bubble
I
about it.
um I sort of I don't really post on social media as often as most people do. I don't really ever speak publicly, like to the mass public, on anything but podcasts. And when I'm hosting a podcast, I'm playing the role of a host. So the host can't constantly just brag on themselves and still be an engaging host to go like, "Why don't you tell me about you? And I wanna hear your fascinating story, but listen to how cool I know I'm doing."
I think you can for sure be both. It's just a balance.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can for sure be
I'm
both.
finessing around it.
Yeah, you can totally, because there's great people out there that have podcasts and talk about all the cool things that they're doing, and then have cool people come on, and then that's another thing too. I think it comes down to security within oneself, and outside of that, when two very confident, successful people get together, it's not there's no competition. It's just a constant flow of, go you, you're amazing. Yeah, no man, yo, you too, man. Yo, and they just go back and forth. It's a constant, that's the kind of level that I strive to be in, want to be in. Uh, Sometimes some days are better than others. Uh,
Mhm.
and but we're all human. So I don't know. I've just been trying to live life with more intention and being more kinder, you know, do that corny thing like for someone, even if it's a stranger. Like I have been enjoying singing for senior homes so much because I get to provide not just a service. It's not a service to me.
It's value, yeah.
It's so humbling, and um I couldn't even put a finger on it. I get to facilitate joy for people.
Yeah, it seems so rewarding, like, whenever I get any messages from you while you're doing that, or I'm seeing any of the posts that you put about it on Instagram, I always just see the rewarding nature of bringing joy to those people's lives, and,
Right. And
I I love it.
yeah, and I think it's more about being less afraid of being that corny Hallmark, Disney person.
Mhm.
Like I think for a long time I was hiding that side of myself. Um and even in the dark feminine side of things too, I was very full of shame. Shame. I was very ashamed of being too corny, too Disney princess, and not doing kind things for people out of fear of being looked at as some kind of brown noser or goody two shoe, or who is she trying to be? And then it's on the other side, the darker end of it is like, oh, you're a go-go dancer, and you
Mhm.
like go to all these events, and oh man, like, and I think being 34 and remembering that I'm a whole ass adult and I can thrive in whatever feeling and genre of life that this Aquarian wants to just indulge in. And because I'm pretty sure I'm starting to know who I am, which is great. I think when we first met, I had an idea of who I was, but I wasn't fully confident in who I was as a person.
Where did we meet again?
Where did we meet again?
Yeah,
You're
where did we meet
looking
again?
at it. You're looking at it.
Right here?
Yeah, right
In
here.
right here?
It's 3 years ago, pretty much.
Yeah.
How about that?
What a world.
What a world, what a world. And I had shorter hair, and it was colored, and it was cool.
Mhm.
And
I feel like, I've told you this recently, but I don't know if I've said it publicly, how much I think I just really wanted to know you. And and I- and even though, like, I was trying to tell myself to pull back a little bit, and I was trying to tell myself to slow it back or whatever, I was I was still committed to the fact that I wanted to know you. And that's probably why we moved so slow. That's probably why we didn't really we didn't really go full balls to the wall right from the start. We just kind of like did the whole dating thing for a minute with each other.
yeah, it was really cool to do that. And well, I mean, I did have surgery in a specific area where you couldn't go any further anyway. But
Details, schmetails.
but also I think that kind of helped. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
helped me kind of just like slow down. And that's when I started my coaching journey too. I was kind of like, all right, I see patterns. It's got to stop. I need to like hire a professional to like
Mm-hmm.
talk me through some things because therapy can only get you so far. So when you start looking outside of therapy and look more into specific things about yourself, certain traits that you have that you want to work on, you start to magnetize those people into your lives. And I for sure magnetized multiple different coaches in different areas of my life. And somehow I manifested the funds to work with them. And I don't regret a penny spent because
No
I
regrets.
needed it. I needed it. And I still look back, I still listen to things, I still kind of read through my little books that I made and just try to remember how far I've come as a person and how many light years away I am from certain mentalities. So I think this year has definitely been more about giving myself more grace and understanding. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's definitely helped, like, domino effect into you.
Yeah, I mean, I know for sure. I wouldn't. I can't say this as confidently about myself, but I know from the person I first met to now, you're a completely new person. Like so many things have changed, but like the, as I say, the mag is still there. Like the very like divine queen is there, and and definitely became more and more somebody I kept falling for, and and falling in love with getting to know you even more. And like I think any of my little influence on you that I have, that's like the in the positive. I don't know if I have any negative influences on you, but I probably do. But I'm saying falling in love with the fact that I can positively influence you and I can see the results of that pretty immediately. I
Yeah,
love it.
I love it too. I love it so much. And I could see it in you too. Like I remember one of our first hard conversations. Uh, it was definitely you know something hard to talk about, and we both were just upset, and I was crying, and I was just trying to tell you, you know, a
Was it when I showed
discomfort.
up late to our first date?
No, that wasn't a hard conversation. I mean, it was probably hard for you because I was pissed off, but
You were pissed off. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still a stickler for time, but I'm not. I don't get mad at you. I just, it's a work in progress.
It's uh, imperfect. Working on it.
hmm Um, but luckily for you, you're with someone who's a planner, and always has alarms and things going off. So you know, that's just a strength that I have, and there's strengths that you have that I can um, lean on as well. And I think that's a good balance for us.
Mhm.
And what was I gonna say? I kind of want to recap about this past year. I think there were a lot of things that really made me fall in love with you even more. Um,
Let me hear about them.
well, let's talk about my birthday.
This
And
past one?
not the one that just passed. I'm talking about 33.
Okay.
We're talking about last year to this year.
Okay. That last year into this year.
Yes.
All right.
Um, I got invited to perform as Semi Distilla, and I showed up in my whole outfit, get up at this like cool dive bar spot. What, near Ben Salem, right?
I'm having a hard time remembering what you're talking about, but
1675.
oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Now I get it. All right, sure.
And
Mhm.
your mom came, which
Mhm.
was cool. I wasn't expecting that. And
Mhm.
you and I were singing to one of the old R&B songs, and I played guitar for the first time in front of people, and I was shaking. And
Mm-hmm.
not only was I shaken because of that, but in the back of my mind, I had gotten a call
Mm-hmm.
about my biopsy, and it wasn't officially confirmed, but she told me it was malignant. So the whole day on my birthday, I was just not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember thinking, "Oh God." And then a couple weeks later, I got the call that it was stage 1 thyroid cancer, and it literally just felt like I didn't know where my life was going to be. I didn't know if I was going to be able to sing anymore. And for the first time, I felt like my dreams were being ripped away from me, or at least my livelihood, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a real like hard like spiritual intervention type thing. There were still people in my life that were not good for me, and I kept them around out of sympathy and allowed to be talked to a certain way. I was still at a job that I was not happy at, no matter how easy it was. And it was just draining. And in a lot of ways, I'm not surprised that it manifested here because a majority of my life I was silenced, or I was being
Shrunken.
shrunken. Yes, I was shrunken and
Mm-hmm.
silenced, and I would be told when to use my voice and how to use it. And if I ever spoke out against someone else's idea of me, I would get punished. So, you know, the fact that it kind of showed up like that, I just knew I needed a new way of life. And the fact that you were there with me at almost every appointment and were so attentive to me, and you came with me to surgery, and you stayed with me for 2 whole days, or maybe three. I think you stayed, and you picked me up, or you picked me up from surgery, and with the car, you stayed through the whole time to surgery. And I just remember being so nervous, and the nurses said that they could bring you back, even though like they don't do that. And they just saw how scared I was. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
being in that beach room. It was the wall was painted with a beach scene, and I just
Mm-hmm.
immediately started crying because it felt like a sign for me that I was going to be okay because I love the beach. And you were
And
sitting.
the beach is like your Gigi's room theme, right? Like that's like the whole gimmick.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely like a full circle because I felt her there too.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to have you with me and holding my hand, and they were giving me the anesthesia, and I just remember like 1 minute, like I just conked.
The I guess the nurse was, and they came and got me, and they came to Mr. Canalicchio, Mr. Mr. Canalicchio. I came in there.
Yeah, and we
Mm-hmm.
were mhm,
Good stuff.
good stuff. You was holding my hand and stuff, and then I passed out, and then I remember waking up like, and I just didn't want to talk. I was too afraid to talk, and I had my little magnet doodle,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Didn't take into consideration how big and sloppy the writing on a Magnadoodle would be,
right, yeah, you know,
because
sorry, I
it's
tried.
like it's like a big ploppy lump. Each letter, each stroke of the pen on the Magnadoodle is like a big.
Right.
Blah. So maybe we should have thought out a better plan. Maybe like a, a like a dry erase board or something.
Mhm.
Maybe a pencil and a pen,
A
or a
pencil and a
pencil and
pen.
a paper.
Right. Well, I just wanted to be fancy.
Yeah.
And well, I wanted something for my inner child, and a magnet doodle is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember you driving me home, and I was listening to Unstoppable by Sia, and like just, you know, keeping that beating that drum. And you made me a smoothie the minute we got home, and I
I
remember I
did.
just
What a
yeah,
nice guy.
I know.
I didn't remember that.
You don't remember? I remember so much that you do for me.
I, dude, I think about this all the time, and I don't know if one more thing. I know I probably talked to you about it, but I don't know if I've ever talked about it publicly. Um, right, right before you found out, but you knew something was up. You knew something was up. You did this self tape for an audition where you sang "Natural Woman,"
Mm-hmm.
and you told me before you sung it that you were just picturing yourself singing it right at me. And I like showed it to everybody I worked with, and I was like, "Look at what she did for me." And it was like such talent while you were struggling through like maybe some of the worst stuff you had been struggling through in your vocal cords, and it still sounded amazing. And I'm still very proud of that. And I, I have since got a new phone. I don't know if I still have that, but I hope I do.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I have it saved on YouTube. It's just not public because
Mm,
I don't know.
well,
I'll make
maybe.
it. I'll make it public,
Mm.
and then I'll put in the caption: "Had thyroid cancer during this performance. Please be nice." like, uh, but yeah, it's so true because I that whole time before surgery and before I found out, I thought there was something wrong. I thought I was not practicing enough, or
You thought you were eating wrong. You thought that like anything else that you thought it was like anything that like was in your control, but it was definitely something that wasn't in your control.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's probably the scariest part because sometimes things just aren't in your control and there's no way, no way that you can prepare for it or prevent it.
yeah. And it was. I just remember feeling it. Like there were certain notes that I couldn't hit without a crack or feeling something sitting on my chords, and I was like, what is that? And so when I found out, I was like, well, it all makes sense. And I'll never forget. My dad's girlfriend reached out to her mutual friend who was my cousin in California, and never met her before. Can't wait to meet her in person. But she's a little bit older than me, and she reached out. She was diagnosed when she was 28. It was a bunch of years ago, and she was such a beacon of light for me to have in that time. She FaceTimed me a few times here and there and like talked me through it and was just so helpful for me. And she would tell me things like, like your skin looks good, like you look healthy, like I can already tell you already eat pretty healthy, and you know, I just want you to know that God's got a plan for you, and you're still going to keep singing, and you're going to have a beautiful love, and your boyfriend sounds like a great guy, and you're going to live a long wonderful life, and this is not the end for you, and this is just a little speed bump, and you're going to be singing again, no problem, and you'll probably come back better. And
Mhm.
hearing those words from her and just having a family member that actually cares, like really like wholeheartedly like checked up on me, messaged me here and there, and you know, it really meant a lot, uh, because I don't really there isn't really anyone aside from my sisters. There's no one else for me to lean on.
Mhm.
Like everyone else is just like a conversation. How you doing? Don't tell them too much. God forbid they want to have something to say. And
Well, there's a level of what we were talking about before that um there's a level of like discrediting of whatever your feelings are. This is the programming that I think you're getting yourself out of now and finally getting to be your actual self because you don't have people kind of discrediting things you say and illegitimizing your feelings.
right, like can't discredit me if I'm already validating myself and I'm just like, you know,
Mhm.
keeping just keeping it moving,
Keep it 100. Keep it 100.
yeah, keep it 100. I mean, but and no shade, I love everybody,
No,
I
no, yeah.
do, I just am recognizing that, you know
I don't think anybody who's ever in any way like, and I'm not making any accusations in any way on anybody particularly. I don't think that anybody does anything that they do on purpose. I don't think there's malicious intent on anybody who's going to invalidate anybody. It's just their patterns, and it's not like anybody means to. I don't think most people who are manipulative or people who are narcissistic or anything like that, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I'm saying anybody who does anything like that, those are just like learned behaviors. And those are very deep, like programmed in learned behaviors. And like don't don't let people get above you, because then you'll be low. So keep them on a, the same thing. I think you said this to me early on, the high horse thing,
mm,
right? Like why can't we be on high why can't we be on horses together? Like that kind of thing.
mhm,
And
mhm.
and I think that that's sort of like a previous generation's idea of keeping you humble
Yeah,
is
yeah.
chopping you down.
That,
Mm, I wouldn't do that to anybody who I want to see do well,
no,
who I
and
love.
and you're so right that I'm finally like coming out of that and learning, because what I just did a couple days ago. I did a photo shoot with one of our good friends. She's gorgeous,
Mhm,
she is who she, she's absolutely gorgeous. She's got a great body. She's awesome. She's a great person at heart, and I know that. And there are people that maybe wouldn't have thrown the opportunity. Hey, do you want to do this thing with me? And there were parts of me that would think, well, why would you do that? This person's gonna make you look bad. And it's like,
what a
no.
comparison robs you of your joy. I
Oh, of
mean,
course.
it truly does.
Yeah, it
And
really does. So I finally I'm not thinking like that anymore, but being raised by people who implanted that in you
mhm,
from childhood, and telling you oh well, th- whether it be fat shaming me and comparing me to my friends that were thinner than me, or my level of s- education, um,
mhm,
and I fully agree with you on the learned behavior. But
mhm,
when I tell you, I'm still having a hard time, accepting that that is true for people in my life that are not well. And I still have that wounding of taking how they treated me personally, you know because some things were definitely personal, uh
mhm,
and um it's sad, and it's rough. I don't think about it every day, but it's just one of those things, and I'm just glad that I'm not I'm not there, it's like the
mhm,
the maliciousness, or any kind of weird negativity. It's not there. And I've noticed that I've always been not confrontational, fight me, but if there's an issue, I want to hash it out immediately with the source, not anybody else.
yeah, I'm not trying to
Go,
whisper down the lane
yeah,
on not trying
go
to
right.
not trying to hear anything from a secondary source.
Yeah,
Primary, boom, right there. Let's have the conversation.
yeah. And sometimes that throws people through a loop, and they get mad at me, and I'm like, I don't want to sit with this feeling. I don't want to sit here and wonder and think about what you could or could have not meant by something that I heard that you said about me. That's too much. That's too much for me to lose sleep on. Just tell me what the issue is, and either we resolve it or we don't. I don't know if that's just me being a South Philly Italian woman, like, or if it's like growth, I couldn't tell you what it is, but um or just making sure that I'm being perceived, you know, accordingly. Like, don't assume blah blah blah, like, you know, maybe
Mhm.
you have the wrong perception of me. And while I don't want to care what people think, sometimes I do, because I'm
You know
human.
what's weird? Like I had one of those friends who wants to keep you humble and like, oh, I don't want your head to get too big. One of those friends told me like, oh, you think you're a good person. You walk around here and you think you're a good person, but you're not that good of a person. But I'm like, according to who? According to, especially now when I hear all like my heroes having all this stuff come out about them and they're monsters, and I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm a way better person. Like, I'm not. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody, but I'm saying I I'm not a bad person like one of those keep you humble friends who I for sure cut out of my life. All those type of people who talk about like, "Oh, I don't want to let your head get too big. I'm going to knock you off your high horse." I I had somebody tell me I was walking around thinking I was holier than thou, and I was like, "Then who? Then are you thou? What is which thou are you talking about?"
that's so bonkers. You know, it's so funny. I'm glad we're talking about this. A couple of nights ago, when I was at that club, this guy, I met a girl. I forgot her name already, but I met this girl and she was really nice, and she said, "Oh, like, you're really pretty. Like, you're so beautiful." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. Like, you too." And the guy, like, he's friends with her, and he looks at me and goes, "Nah, she's all right." And I looked at him, I went, "All
That's
right."
your friend?
Yeah, I said, "All right." And he was like, "Yeah, you all right." And I was like, "Nah, you don't, I know what I am. I mean, you have your opinion." And he was like, "Well," and then he looked at the girl and he goes, why are you hyping her up like that? She all right?" And I said, "Why are you telling her to bring me down right now? That's the real question. Why are you getting on her about bringing me up? What's your problem?" Like,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Consider the source right away.
Barbie, like, again, like,
Yeah.
I will
Mhm,
straight up, no,
mhm,
why are you starting shit? Like,
mhm.
what the hell is your deal, my guy? Like,
That's what I always say to anybody who's like trying to minimalize anything about what I've got going on. If
mhm,
they say like something about whatever, I'm not getting into specifics, but I'll be like, yeah, I'm doing that. What are you doing? What are
yeah,
you doing that's special? What are you do? I'm not comparing you to me in any way, but saying like, what have you always wanted to be when you were a kid? What are you now? Like, who did you always want to be? What are you now? Well, how do you compare those things? How do you justify that in your brain, in your
mhm,
soul, in your heart, and go like, oh well, I'm living the purpose that I've set out for myself, and and if it's to be ugly at people and tear people's like dreams away from them, then then you're a kind of success that I don't want in my life.
yeah, mhm, um,
Ejected.
alright. Yeah, that was a good tangent. I like that. So in a short version, it's live your life for you and have fun, and who cares what other people think? And that's definitely this this year's vibe. Just do whatever. Just do whatever
Mhm.
makes you happy, and everything will work out. Um, so then fast forward, the healing process was great, and I made so many friends, and so many people were so kind throughout the whole thing. And
People don't speak fluent magnadoodle though sometimes.
no, they don't. You don't hear Fiona meowing, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. Um, so let's see. What other big moments did we have? We had so many big moments. Um, wow, the first day that I went back to sing at the Brick House, it was my
Mhm.
first day back from surgery. So many people showed up,
Mhm.
and I made so much in tips. Everyone from Jabs came to support me. You were there. My friend
Mhm.
Jasmine and James. Not
Ron.
James. Sorry, Ron. Ron and Jasmine. Sorry, babe. Um, sorry, Jasmine. Sorry, Ron. If you're watching this episode, I just can't stop talking about James sometimes. um, but yeah, and it was just so cool, like to have that much love in the room, and I definitely teared up a few times just because I was
Mhm.
so happy to sing again, and I felt the freedom, and it was a game changer. Like the fact that I have more space here that I never didn't even like, not that I took for granted before, but I never thought that I would feel the difference. And it's incredible. So shout out to Jefferson at near Audubon or wherever that was in Pennsylvania, New Jersey ish cutoff. That cancer center, yo, Dr. Fundakowski, you a real one. He really he was in there. He was like, "Yep," and he was so confident. He was like, "Oh yeah, I just finished my first one, so I'm
I'm
warmed
warmed
up."
up.
Like
I'm
he
good and
said, he
warmed
was
up.
warmed up. Yeah, from his first surgery. I was like, okay.
He was
And they
retching.
yeah, and they waited. They waited a little bit longer to have like a specific, um, what is it? A specific tube that would fit, so it wouldn't mess with my vocal cords. And I
Mhm.
was like, bless, you're it. Um, so
Bless.
I really appreciated him for that. And gosh, so yeah, the first time I sang was great, and then it's just been an ongoing flow of abundance and learning. And then we took a road trip together
Mm-hmm.
in the summer to go see my sister
Mm-hmm.
and
Boston.
Boston. We went to Boston. We're
Boston.
showing up to Boston. Whoa. Uh,
Careful, we might have to pay copyrights on that.
oh, God forbid.
Careful. Careful. I'm gonna get a copyright strike on my YouTube channel.
Wait, ready?
Oh geez. It's gonna have to be muted through that. Edit that part
No,
out.
no.
Whoever's editing this, edit that part out.
um, yeah, and it was so much fun, and we got to see the Barbie movie in Boston.
Mhm.
Cool. And
Barbston.
Barbston, yeah, it was cool. And I'm just shout out to my sister. I'm so proud of her. She's killing it, man. Like, you know, d- I don't like I just want to give her so much credit. We've all been through so much, and just to be in college, like basically full scholarship, and so smart, so intelligent. I know they're the same freaking words, but so so
Smart and intelligent and wise and
and is a
and
genius.
and a genius and what other words that mean smart?
She's gonna roll her eyes. Um, and and just so talented though too. I'm so enthusiastic for her to like find wherever she goes in life because she could be whatever she wants. She could be a comedian. She could be theater, whatever she wants to do. I'm here for it. A therapist, okay? Because she's definitely given me therapy for free for a little bit. So she's wonderful, and being there with my other sister Bean, and like all three of us just finally getting together and getting matching tattoos.
Yeah, that's right. You did do that in Boston.
We did do that. Oh my god, I love it so much. We manifested this. I told you that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, this is from the game Kingdom Hearts, and it's a real G, and the three of us grew up with that. I think Kingdom Hearts was probably our saving grace when there was too much toxicity in the home. We would just all cuddle around in the basement and play the game.
Disney nerd stuff.
Oh man, we were hardcore, and they would watch me play, and
Mhm.
and and you got me the game set this year. You got me the full freaking set. I've got so much time now. Oh my god! Like
You got to start playing it.
I know. Well, I started and then I stopped because I want to like
You might have
record it.
had it now at your house for like the last 4 to 5 months, probably,
I know. I'm just. I know.
and played it all of once,
I know. I
maybe.
know. Well, I gotta set up a Twitch and stuff. I gotta do all the things.
Hmm.
Um. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Maybe when you come here, we'll get
Hmm.
there. Um.
Okay.
So what else? Yeah, I loved being in Boston. And we got to go to that cool speakeasy that she was like hoping to get us to. And that was a
Hmm.
whole conundrum in itself. It was like waiting to get in there and hopefully we get a seat. And we got to go to the mall. And then I got this cool dress from the mall and I was feeling like super high vibe. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do great things. And, uh, and we all were drinking because she's 21 now. So we all were doing the thing with her and just feels so good.
I say this to you pretty often, but I want to say it again, that like sometimes it feels like when we're together, it feels like we've been together forever, but then sometimes it feels like it's still brand new. And it reminds me like how much time, like how this is still just the very beginning. Like I've said this for years, and I probably said it on my podcast a bunch when I talk about the timeline, right? Meaning like the life expectancy of somebody. Say like ideally like 100 years, right? So like any relationship you've been in, or any school, or any training you get, all of that is just little tiny pieces of that 100-year lifespan,
Hmm.
right? So like so far, this is only 3 out of the many years we've got. You know what I mean? So I get stoked thinking about that, and optimistic,
Me
and
too.
very very hopeful and happy.
Yeah, that makes me
Mm-mm,
happy. And
mm-mm.
and we came home, and that was cool too though. Like you got to see me twice in real time stress driving somewhere that we don't know where we're going, and
Mhm.
and I manifested my car
Yeah, yeah,
because
you got that new whip.
yeah, we were driving the Toyota Rav4. We rented it since our two busted uh, cars weren't going to make that drive.
Hoopies, our
Hoopties.
hoopies wouldn't have made that long ride.
No. So we got the rental, and I remember sitting in it by myself, and I just heard something. Hmm, imagine being in a car like this. And I was like, imagine that. And then I remember telling my sister in the car. We were driving, and it was raining. It was raining in
Oh,
Boston,
pouring, yeah.
torrential.
That was the worst rain uh, I that I can remember as an adult ever being in.
Yeah. You
Right,
have no idea how nervous I was because it was a rental, and we're in the middle
right.
of Boston, and I kept pulling over like I don't want to be in this. and and just so and I was hangry, so I was like, I just want to go somewhere to eat. Getting tattoos for 3 hours, um,
Hmm.
and I remember just thinking. I remember telling my sister, "Well, who knows? Maybe by the time you come home for the holidays, I'll have a different car." What happened? I got a
Hmm.
different car.
And it's
Aphrodite.
just like the one that you rented.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, different
Yeah,
model, but yeah, like
right.
same name brand.
Pretty much every other thing is the exact same, except for it's a different model.
And I love her, and I'm so grateful for her. And that was magic. That was pure magic. Apparently, that's what I needed more than the other thing that just happened this week that I'm not going to get into because I'm still pretty mad about it.
Well, I guess we can shift gears a little bit on that and talk about how we got through like the holidays, and you threw me a surprise birthday party, and
Talk
you,
about it.
you got me WrestleMania tickets for my birthday, and we're gonna go to WrestleMania in Philly in April.
I'm so excited. We have to do a special pod about that when it comes up.
Yeah, yeah. About like post WrestleMania, or do you want to do like a pre and post?
Oh, maybe a pre and post.
Hmm.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, I had
Or we
started.
could do like a WrestleMania predictions,
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania the predictions one, and then we'll do a post WrestleMania one.
Okay, I like it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I had started planning your birthday party way before the summer here. I didn't say
Hmm.
anything to anybody until the summer, but here,
Yeah. Dustin told me you said something about it in June.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
messaged. Mhm.
so that's even before we went to Boston.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
You you went way out of your way
Oh yeah. Hmm.
for a long time.
Yes, I had been planning and just wanting because I was like it's your 40th, man. Like I wanted it to be a big deal, and I wanted to find a place that was considerate for your family because I know the drive is difficult for most. So I was like, where am I gonna find it? And then it all kind of just came together. Your mom was cool and said, oh, the game gallery, and and we had a great story because she was like, I already went there, so I'll just tell him I want to go there for my birthday. And I was like,
Hmm.
smart.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it was just cool to kind of have her help to find people that maybe I wasn't friends with yet, or think of people that I couldn't think of. And it was just nice to I I've thrown surprise parties before, but not like this, you know.
Hmm.
And I just wanted to do it for you, like
Hmm.
I know it, and a part of me was afraid that you maybe have had like felt a little overwhelmed, like maybe it was too much, and I was like, oh no, like did I make this about me? Like
No, how can you throwing
I
a surprise party for somebody else be
I
you
know
making it about yourself?
no clue. It's like just because like again old patterns from
Mhm.
people like well if it weren't for me like I would never say that to you, but like
Mhm. Right, right.
I was like, no, like I had to like check myself. I'm like, no, you wanted to do this because you're a cool ass chick and you love this man. And if you love somebody, you do stuff for them and that's it. And like,
And right before that, I had just told you about how I was giving up on WrestleMania tickets, like, and it, all of it, like, I the misdirect, the whole mislead on all of it for like you're like I even said to you that day, like, oh, once we get done with hanging out with my mom for her birthday, let's go hang out at Sage's house. Let's go do this. Let's like make other plans and let's do that. And you're like, okay, let's do that. But then we didn't leave that until like midnight.
right. And, uh, and it was so funny when you told me, you're like, yeah, we're probably not going to go. I'm like, no, we're not. Like, I need an Oscar. I need an Oscar for the acting that I did for you. I was pure poker face, like, oh, yeah, you don't think we're gonna go? You're like, no, no. Oh, I'll just be fine to watch it on TV. And I was like, okay. And then like at your wrestling show, I saw Rick and like he was like doing the camera stuff, and I'm like running behind the booth, like cackling and snickering, and I was like, he thinks we're not going. He said he gives up on trying to get the tickets. And he was like, that's great. It's classic. I was like, oh my god. I remember when I got them, I like text him immediately and I'm like, get this row, hurry up. Like so we're all gonna be in the same row together.
Mhm.
Or
Heck
at
yeah.
least yeah, I think like we're below or they're whatever, but like we're in the same section. Um
Vicinity of each
yeah,
other.
vicinity. It's gonna be great. So I it just warmed my heart. And he like sent me a picture of the Funko Pop he made you and I was like, that's so cute. Like
We're totally gonna tailgate together.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I already told Brian, my bandmate, that not available the 6th either. Not. Even
Well,
though I didn't get tickets for that day, like we're
we
gonna
got to think
tailgate.
about what we're gonna do on the 6th. Maybe we'll.
Go to Xfinity.
I don't know. Is it gonna be playing? I don't know. I don't.
I feel like they should be playing it if it's right
We
across the street.
should be playing. I mean, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We got time.
Well, yeah, we got time. We got
We
time.
got time. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And so and then Christmas came and
Mhm.
we all we did, I think that was it was a very like well planned holiday this year.
Thanksgiving was the same. Like
Yeah.
all uh, all of it went like really good, and it felt like very streamlined, very like happy. Like a lot, like a lot of like we're creating moments now.
Yeah. Yeah. My aunt and
And
Uncle Keith threw down.
yeah,
They threw down for Thanksgiving. That was good.
Mhm. So
And
good,
so good. Yeah.
so good.
And it's always so nice getting to see them. And then going to Dana's for Christmas Eve and seeing
Dana.
Dana.
That was Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter's name in the movie True Lies.
Oh.
So whenever I hear Dana, I think Dana.
And
It was played by what's that girl's name? She was like Dushku,
no idea.
Eliza Dushku. She was in a bunch of movies in the 90s. But like she was like a teen actor, but like she was real young in True Lies. Which was also Jamie Lee Curtis, which it's funny that you made me watch that episode of The Bear, and that was Jamie Lee Curtis in that. And you didn't know it was her the whole time until the end credits. You're like, oh my God, that was Jamie Lee Curtis the whole time? And I was like,
I didn't know.
You were like, oh, there's so many stars in this. And you were like, John Mulaney.
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson. That's it.
A bunch of other people.
Yes, but
well, because I know
Oliver
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Barenthal. I like, man, that show stressed me out. I had so many feelings, and I was like, I think even like I've tried a few times to try to get through that show, and like I watched the first episode probably 2 or 3 times. The same thing I did that with Game of Thrones. Like I keep on rewatching the first episode to see if it can hook me, and it doesn't hook me. Mm-hmm. And I think when it came to that show, it was like stress levels, like crazy. Everything was like high anxiety, stress levels, and like everybody yelling at each other the whole time. And I was like, I don't want to voluntarily sign myself up for all this trauma.
That was a majority of my life. So I was used to seeing that. I was desensitized. I was like, oh, this feels familiar. I like this show. Oh, a shitty Christmas. Oh yeah, like, oh man, definitely not driving a car through a house. Bad, but
I'm gonna throw a fork at somebody at Christmas next year.
Oh my God! You throw that fork one more time. I dare you. It was good. And then we had our first New Year's Eve together.
That's true. Yes, that's very true. Because the last few years you've been booked on New Year's Eve, and while you were booked, I just sat at home by myself the last few New Years. So it was real cool to be able to get to have that with spend that time together. Yeah. I dug it.
Dug it real hard. Yeah, and I loved all the gifts you got me for Christmas. I felt like you were Santa Claus. Like you just got me all the things that I needed, wanted.
I know you, dude.
Yeah, you know me so well.
Yeah. I know you, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm excited to continue to get to know you even more. That's my favorite thing.
It's literally the king and I getting to know you, Getting to know all about you, getting to like you, getting to hope
That
you
song
like
sounds
me.
familiar, but I don't know what that is.
Oh man, I'm gonna have you sit down and watch it. We'll watch the cartoon one.
Uh, I
It's
mean, yes, I've seen it. I've seen it a million times, and
no
that,
no no no
and
no
I'm
no
over it at this point. I've
no
seen it so
no
many
no
times.
no
Oh God, I'm
no no
so
no
over it.
no
I've watched it so many times.
no
Oh, The
no.
King and I, you say? Oh yeah, of course, I've seen that a bunch.
No, 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 no. We gotta watch it.
Mm.
Um, you got, I've been doing so much of highlights. What are your highlights or favorite moments or just things you want to say?
Uh, it is very cool to watch you being comfortable with being a dork. You know what I mean? Like I think you were more like you were more uh, you used to hide that more, I think. Like you used to hide some of the stuff a little bit more, and like seeing you become yourself even more has been the coolest thing I think I've ever experienced. It's not just the coolest thing with you, it's the coolest thing ever that I ever have, you know, been able to see. So getting to watch that has been very, very rad, and continuing to be able to watch that is really cool. And the fun thing about you is that like you can tell everything is for real. Like nothing feels like performative, like nothing feels forced, nothing feels phony, you know? And I I'm here for it. I dig it.
Me too. I feel that with you. Like, even the next step that we're talking about taking, you know, it
The
it
next step.
next, yeah,
Next.
the next step that we're talking about,
I know. Get it.
and
I just love our private time too, man. Like that that's some of my favorite like quality time I've been able to have in life, and I it feels like a dream sometimes. Like I was saying last night, like it just doesn't feel. I was like, oh, am I gonna wake up now? Like
love
it,
that.
it's really cool. So thanks for showing that to me.
You're welcome. Thanks for allowing me to show that to you,
Mhm.
and well, helping me, not allowing me. You help me feel safe, and when I feel safe, you get to see me, and I think that's one of the key factors in a relationship, to be able to be seen and heard, and that's all I wanted. I think that had a lot to do with this too. I just wanted to be seen and heard, and there's still parts of me that wants to be seen and fucking heard, especially in the music world. And it's one step at a time. And
You know how we were talking about people trying to like invalidate you or silence you or minimalize you and stuff. It was driving me crazy to see people in the music world kind of doing that to you, especially your own bandmates. At one point, I, it was really pissing me off, really. And I I think I may have I may have spoken up about it a little too much sometimes, but like no, okay, and no overstepping.
no, if anything, you were just giving me the nudge to, like, see what's going on around you.
Mm,
Like, why are you letting these boys talk to you this way in your own home? Like,
mm.
you know, and um, thanks, because now I hold myself at a, like, higher regard, and like, even like, a random schmuck that says like, you all right? No, I'm more than all right. Like, you just have like a weird Whatever.
Can we agree to bring schmuck back? Can we say
Yeah,
schmuck
schmuck.
more often?
Yeah, I'll
Bring
say it
schmuck
all
back.
the time. Yeah, schmuck. Um,
How do you spell schmuck?
Shmuck.
Okay, schmuck.
I think that's
No,
how you spell
no ch,
it. No, no, no. It's
sh,
schmuck.
schmuck.
Yeah.
Schmucker's great.
um, but yeah, man, like I don't allow even my accountant this year, who I'm not gonna do business with anymore. He kind of, like, long story short, he talked to me like I was a child.
Mhm,
And I'm like looking at the whole situation from the outside of both of us. And I'm like, first of all, you don't even have a professional office for me to show up to. You want me to drive to a not great area at a house for you to give my paperwork to. And, you're charging me a rate that what I'd be paying for at, I don't know, an office. And then you like talk to me with like a tone. And because I had extra questions and things with like paperwork and business, well, that's what I told you a couple days ago. Da, da, da. I told you to do it that way. And because I had extra information I wanted to share about it, he
mhm.
acted like it didn't matter. He's like, it don't matter. Just write the thing and I'll do it. You're the one that's holding everything up. Blah blah. Blah. And I was like,
Mhm.
whoa 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 whoa. I said, first of all, it's too early for you to talk to me this way. What? Why? Don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. Like, I had to keep my cool on the phone. I was like, please don't interrupt me. I'm just trying to tell you what what is going through my mind here. Like, I don't need you to, whatever you're
Mhm.
doing right now. I don't know what your attitude's about, but check it.
Mhm.
And I don't have to tell him, but like, I'm not going to do business with somebody like that. Like,
Right.
I'm paying you, motherfucker. Like, like, who, like, since when do like business owners think it's okay to talk and diminish their clientele? I don't understand that, you know?
Right. It's not a
And
very good business model.
no, it's really not. So, I'm moving on from that. But like, see, something like that, like a situation like that, old me would have allowed that kind of disrespect
Mhm. Well,
to be put on me, because I would have blamed myself and thought, "Oh man, I'm so dumb. Yeah, you're right. I
well, if
probably."
he thought it was important enough to tell me that I was being stupid, I must have been being stupid.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's like a that's kind of a the voice of somebody who's constantly put under a thumb, you know?
Hmm. Oh
It's
yeah.
like used to that sort of treatment.
Hmm.
Uh, you're hopefully you're used to a different kind of treatment these days.
Yeah. Especially
That's
from a
me
guy like
flipping
you.
my hair.
You're flipping your hair. Are you so happy that my hair grew out?
Oh yeah, man. It happened quick, mad fast.
Mhm.
I love it. I love it.
Yay.
I, I was just talking to Dylan about it the other day because I brought the picture, the framed picture that you gave me out into the living room, and I was showing it to Dylan the other day, and he's like, "Oh wow!" Like I was telling him about how you had short hair when we first met, and how it's almost like unrecognizable to look at you now versus those images. And like even the other day when you put up whatever you put up on Instagram, one of the pictures was you with short hair, and I was like, "Oh, who's that?"
Eh, yeah, I didn't want that in there, but I didn't know how to edit it out, and I was like, whatever, just um, it's just there. But
Mhm.
it was a great moment. We were on the cruise and on the boat in the pool, and I was just in my own world jamming.
Well, you didn't have short hair on the cruise. It was
Is it?
definitely no, you didn't. You got the hair before the cruise.
Oh, that's right. My hair looked short there though. I don't know. It
It
was
de-
probably just
it-
the way my hair
it
was.
was- we were at some other pool, right?
I don't know. Now I
What
have
were
to
we doing?
look.
Burp.
We'll
Chirp.
look later. We'll look later. But yeah, yeah. Sometimes I look and I'm like, oh wow, that was me. I
Mhm.
do miss that cut though. I miss the colors and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could bring the colors back, but leave the length.
No, no, I'm good. I gotta watch the spending a little bit and take
Mm,
care of some stuff. Um,
mm,
but also all natural, you know.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I got modeling and things to do now too. So for continuity purposes,
Yeah. It's 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 harder to book. It's harder to book colorful hair.
hmm yeah, that's another thing I guess we can like touch base on. I joined an agency.
Bookings, dude.
Bookings,
Bookings,
brother.
brother.
Yeah. Not nothing yet, but it's coming. It's coming. I got cool professional photos done, and I did an expo, and I got all nines and tens across the board for my acting.
Yeah.
hmm by reputable directors.
Reputable.
hmm Yes. Oh, and a film that I'm in, last known like location is in the Garden State Film Festival. hmm Yeah.
Hell yeah.
hmm
Well,
So we're doing big things.
I just I ooh, is that the Mr. Bowie? Is he doing a little barking? Or is
No,
that here?
that's there.
Oh, this must be my yard. Can you hear that?
Very
There's like a
faint.
dog barking in my yard or something. Or in, the neighbor's yard or something.
Yeah, yeah. What
Oh
were you gonna say?
man.
You
Uh
were saying?
you know how I be loving talking about on the record stuff. I just
Yeah.
wanna I just wanna put out on the record how grateful I am, how much I have appreciated the currency of your effort and the time that you've spent with me. I'm so grateful for all the things we've done and all the things that we will continue to do. And I'm so blessed and I love you so much. And so grateful that I met you. You make it feel easy. People always say, like, oh, what makes it work? Hard work makes it work. And it's like, it's not really hard. It doesn't feel, nothing feels like a tremendous amount of work. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm going all out of my way to constantly make you happy, and it makes like everything we do feels right.
Yeah.
It just feels natural and right and good, and nothing feels forced in any way. And I dig that. I dig it.
Can I say ditto to everything that you just said? And
Hmm.
and yeah, you just make me feel like I'm not too much. I'm never too much with you.
You are much.
I am much, but
You am much.
you fully. It's like I can give, and you're just like, yeah, man, and you reciprocate, which is like just as important. You don't just take from me and make me feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm too much, and you're not belittling me or diminishing my light in any way and telling me like, God, or like, oh my God, like none of that comes from you.
We don't got time. We don't got time for shame, dude. We don't got time for that. Man, you're my friend.
Yes.
You're my homie.
Yeah,
I don't want
dude.
to. I don't want to mess any of that up. I'm like, we stay homies to each other. That's my favorite.
I love being your homie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I also piggyback on like the private time with you. It's just so chill, man. It's like it's for sure one of my favorite things, and I cannot wait to like for us to fully like merge so we can like always, because we're always gonna have that like like I really want to make it a point like an hour before like actually going to sleep we just get to like put the phones away, and just talk about our day and how we're feeling, and what are some things coming up for you, or things that you want to do, and just or just talk about weird stuff. Like I love that shit. I love going down rabbit holes. I love thinking about what could be up there, and what kind of conspiracies are out there. And you're just such an open human being that I feel like we can talk about anything. And even if we have different views, it's nice that we don't really fight about it. Like, like you
I
watch
do
certain.
think that there's certain things that like I'll go into a territory where you're like automatically uncomfortable, and I can tell, and I'm like, oh shit. All right, well, I'm gonna just tell you how I feel about it, and you can uh, you can understand the source that this is coming from. I understand that you might not like it on first bluff, but like you're gonna understand it a little, like understand my point of view
Yeah,
on
yeah.
what it is, and like and vice versa. That's reverse versa, however you want to say it.
Yeah, and like I think that's something that not a lot of people have these days. Like, the minute you find out someone likes a certain politician, or, a certain band sometimes, or whatever, like it's, well, I don't.
I think it's a we're in a culture where everybody wants to be right all the time.
Mhm.
Nobody wants nobody wants to like hear anybody. They just want to be right.
Yeah, and it's sad to kind of be that way, because we're all human. We're all gonna have, that's what makes us special. Fiona knocked something over downstairs. I heard it.
Something that makes you special. You're very special. I I just love that specialness.
Well, what is something that makes me special?
Um. Well, uh, didn't you write down a list that like said all this stuff that like described me exactly, and then you attracted me into your life somehow?
Hmm. Hmm.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, yeah. I had no idea that that it was gonna happen that way. No clue.
I mean, dude, I'm so serious when I talk about like watching you perform. Sometimes it gives me like chills, and like I feel the emotions in in your songs. Like you're you're so special that like I want to watch the world see it, you know?
Yeah,
And it's so cool that I get to do that. I love being able to watch new people see you sing for the first time and be like, oh, oh, that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I'd be loving that, and I think that's changed about me too. The whole like authenticity of becoming more authentic in myself. I believe it's like even showing in how I sing. I think that I'm actually finally like falling in love with how I sound, and that's never been a thing. Even when I have performed songs, like, okay, especially in my 20s, I was very like, okay, like you got to sing the song exactly how it's done, and you can hit the notes, but that's all that was important to me. It wasn't about, I mean, no, I loved showing the emotion behind it, but I was still in the mindset of acting, like portraying a role, or acting like a singer that I love, like, and just embodying their personality, not so much so letting my personality shine. I was still
Mhm.
hiding behind the mask of like these people that I idolized. And I think for the first time this year, or the past few years, I've been slowly just being, well, how would Alyssa sing it?
Mhm. Well,
And
it's kind of like monologues in an acting class. Like
mhm,
when you're if you like read a script and you do the lines based on how you've analyzed a character versus like if you were to watch somebody else do that performance, then you're just um, doing an impression of that person performing it. If if you've watched it a million times and that's what influences your performance of it versus whether you've like done your script analysis and figured out what your motivation is as a character and what would I say in this and how would I say it, like that sort of is a zoom out of the whole thing.
That's a really great point, and I was missing that. I think I just sparked a memory for me. I was at some kind of open jam for like with a jazz band or something, and um, my friend's uncle, yeah, he was a musician too, and he looked at me and he said, "You're really good. You're really good at imitating, but when are you going to start being yourself?"
Mhm.
And I I remember I got defensive and I was like, "Well, that's how I learn the song. I have to sing like the person so I know how the song goes, and then
Mhm.
I become myself." But I don't think I would ever truly show myself. I was still hiding behind this imaginary wall. Even from people that I performed for, I would still hide behind a mask. And for a long time, when I would dress up as princesses for kids, it was easier for me to be more authentically me because I was hiding behind a character.
Mhm.
And now I'm seeing that I am the character. It is me. It's me.
Mhm.
Hi. I'm the princess. It's me. Um, and uh, it's so cool. Like, especially when I sing at restaurants and like little kids see me, they
Mhm.
run up to me as if I were like Ariel or Elsa. Like, they don't know who the hell I am, but they're just so
Mhm.
drawn to me. And I really love giving that feeling, and I love how much I shine. And I can feel that. And with the elderly people too, they're like, you know, I can't tell you how many things have been said to me about how much joy I bring them and how some of them suffer from depression, and me being there brightens their whole week, and they want me back like every day. and
Mhm.
they love my vibe, and they're like, "Oh my god, we wish you so much luck." Like, I made people cry today. I saw two people crying, and it was it and then it makes me kind of tear up a little bit because I'm like, yeah,
Because you want to make fun of them so bad, you want to be like, "You wuss, you crying, you little sissy wuss."
I said tear up. I tear up too.
I know, I'm
um
kidding.
it makes me tear up a little bit because
Mhm.
like I feel the emotion with them,
Yeah.
and at the same time I'm like watching from the outside all at the same time, like the experience that I'm giving them and like how it must feel to be them watching me and me watching
Exactly.
them.
That's what I was just thinking about. Like, if can you imagine being them and seeing you in there performing the way you're doing it, like watching all that talent and passion all in one little ball come like when I've seen like my favorite bands live, I'll be like in my head, I'll be like, this is all for me. You know what I mean? I'll be like, I'll feel like this is just for me, even though like I know there's a whole bunch of people there, but I'll feel like I'll be able to internalize it and say like, oh, well, this is just for me. This is an experience that I get to have. You know, especially when I think back of like performances that I'll never get to see again, like the Chester Bennington, the Scott Weiland, like all those things that I'll never, Chris Cornell, all the stuff that I'll never get to see again. How grateful I am that I got to see it. So like when it comes to those people, that they'll the specialness that you make them feel has got to be pretty incredible.
Yeah, and like I think about that too, and of course I think about like Gigi, like especially the first few times I started doing this, and I would just get so emotional because I miss her, and she was a real G, and she was probably one of the few normal family members that I had that was a light, like made sure I had a roof over my head, made sure to cook for me, and she would let me sing, and she showed me Frank Sinatra. I'm gonna sing Frank Sinatra one day for the elderly, and hopefully I don't break down in tears. But you know, I just see a little bit of her every time, and I think that's a part of why I love doing it, because it's like I get to be doing this for her. Like I know like they're not her, but it that's what it feels like for me every time. Like
Hmm.
I get to, you know, and and really anywhere. I actually had this thought today when I was doing a gig for them, and I thought, how much joy I feel here. Why don't I just pretend that everywhere I sing, it's just all these old people? Like I just turn everybody old in my mind, so I
Hmm.
have more. Like I can have that feeling. I mean,
What
it's
does it
just
say? Instead of picturing the audience nude, picturing the audience old.
yeah, yeah. It's not new. They're just old. Um,
Old
and
nude.
old news. Uh, yeah,
What's
and
old is nude again.
I cannot. You can't make this up. Um,
Love it.
and yeah, you're great. Yeah. So I think I want to take that with me, and even with kids, like my 9-year-old student, freaking love that kid. Like it's so cool. It's so cool to like.
I mean, the fact that I don't know if we've ever even talked about it on here, that you have students, that you are a teacher, that you are uh, teaching singing and like voice lessons, vocal coaching. Like that's showing another bit of like you earning respect and also getting some for yourself.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you earning more and more for yourself. Like when you can say my students and you can be proud, and like some of that pride comes back to you being the one who's equipping them with the the thing that you're proud of.
Yeah, and then like that, it gives me more validation on my talent, and
Mhm.
I think that's where that self confidence and that
Skills.
reassurance in myself really
Mhm.
is like becoming more prominent, and the authenticity. And I, you know, went through a huge hurdle this week and kind of took myself out of a situation I didn't want to be in anymore preemptively, but it's fine. Um, and I mean,
I mean, blessing. There's a
there's
silver lining.
reasons. Yeah, no,
There's
there's reasons for
there's an
everything.
absolute silver lining in all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I
Things to be
just
grateful for.
yeah, and I think I just didn't want to be stuck in a place that I it was such an emotional roller coaster for 2 years. Like in the middle of the week, I would get shit on and talked to disrespectfully and constantly like, having to repeat myself or, you know, just stress. And then on the weekends, get tons of praise, tons of love because
Mhm.
I'm doing what I actually love. And it's just been an eye opener of why not do it every day? And know that I can do it every day.
I identify with that hardcore. You know that.
Mhm.
You've got to know. Like
Yeah.
I there I've talked about this a few times. On there's a stand up comedy documentary that came out. I can't remember how long ago it was. It had to be over 10 years ago, and it was called Vince Vaughn's Wild West Comedy Tour.
Oh.
And Sebastian Maniscalco, before he was famous, this is like he was still working as a server at Olive Garden, and he was like, see my name up in lights on the weekends, and then see it on a name tag like on the Monday is such a deflating feeling. And I identify with that so hard. I identify with that so hard. And I know you also identify with that so hard because it's like, like
Like
I
for
don't need
instance.
anybody else trying to humble me. I have enough humility on my own. The fact that like I got to go from being an entertainer and somebody that people can look up to then being a server who's a servant in other people's eyes, who are like people people can talk down to me and people can like people can like order me around. Like I, my it messes with my confidence for sure. And I, I, I'm bound to it in order to pay my bills, and that breaks my little butt.
Yeah, it's for sure like not the way. And I
Mhm,
wait, and for instance, like, to piggyback on the deflating feeling of it, like I'll never, well, I mean, I will forget one day because it's going to be irrelevant,
it's so
but
distant, yeah.
it's going to be so distant. But one of the things that like really got me, like a multitude of things, but this past job, a woman was hollering at me on the phone and she was like, "You're nobody. You're nothing but a receptionist. You're fucking nobody."
Mm,
And I just had a moment of like thinking, hmm, no, I am somebody. You just don't know
mm,
me. And
mhm,
I didn't say that to her. It's not worth saying to her, but I
mhm.
really
She
had
knew
to
he's in them.
like, yeah, she don't need to like whatever. She'll see me on TV one day and go, "Oh shit," or maybe she won't, or she won't
Mhm.
even put two and two
She
together.
she might
Doesn't
she might
matter.
expire before that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know, but
Mhm,
it's just when you have things like that said to you, even if I wasn't an entertainer, first of all, that kind of thing should not be said to anybody, period. Like, we're
mhm,
human beings. You don't talk that way to people, regardless of whether or not they're talented and they're trying to make something of themselves, or they're just a fucking receptionist working at a job. You don't talk to them that way.
mhm,
That goes for servers, that goes for bartenders, that goes for people on the front lines, that goes for nurses, whoever that is providing a service to you. Don't treat them like shit. You can make a reel out of that. Like, just fucking, just, like, just from an Aquarian to, like, everybody in the goddamn world, just genuine respect, please. Like, that should not be something that someone should have to work for. Should be a bare minimum because we're all here do trying to do the same thing, trying to live, trying to survive on this revolving ball, and whatever. Like, just God, like, and I think being at that particular job was very diminishing of my soul. I remember you told me so many times that it's breaking my soul, and it made me like just less empathetic, less empathetic.
yeah, like, I was telling you probably even yesterday, like, I'm feeling weight on my soul from, like, the couple jobs that I've been having where it's like it just weighs on me a little bit, and, like, it's making me judge people in a way I don't like, I had to break up a fight yesterday while you were
Mhm.
singing. Like, I don't like, that just it just took me out of the moment that I should have absolutely been in.
Right.
Uh, and it just sucked. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like the fact that like I started last year in the cemetery business, and like I feeling like this weight karmatically on my soul, like having to like make money off of sadness and being around death every day. This
Mhm.
is something I'm not quite over yet.
Yeah, it's hard, and I don't take all the time you need, um, you know, and it's not like that. That's why you won't catch me. Like, I know me at least, that much. Like, I've done a lot of different jobs in my life, and that is
Mhm,
one territory I will not put myself in. I will not
mhm,
go to a funeral home. I won't work at a morgue. I cannot. I won't be a nurse. Can't do it. The closest thing is the senior homes to sing for them, but even there, I get emotional because I know, especially when I'm a returning person, some of the people might not be there anymore, and or like I I remember I was checking in to sing last week, and this woman, the receptionist at that desk, she's like, going through stuff, and then she got like some kind of notification on her computer, and she's like, "Oh, he just passed."
mhm,
And I was like, "Oh God, I didn't want to be, I didn't want to hear that." Like, I mean, what are you gonna do? But
mhm,
it's just what it is. And even the eeriness about how it feels strange driving, and all these places have a similar format. It's kind of feels like a not slaughterhouse, but like just like there's a senior home, and then 2 blocks away is the church and the funeral home. It's like, well, you're gonna go from here to there to there, like, and or they're near power plants, and I'm like, what do you? Why? Why are they placed in such a strange? And I mean, I get it. Like, I'm sure that's how it has to be, but it just doesn't feel great, you know. Um, yeah, but I mean, these places are nice, so I mean, I'm sure they're getting taken care of for the most
Mhm.
part. So they have good caretakers and all. So you know, but
I
I
just have a few more quick things, and then I'll send you off into the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake. If that's cool.
okay.
Unless you got like a whole bunch more you want to discuss.
I definitely want to lean away from the doom and gloom of like
Yeah, that's
seniors.
what
Yeah,
I'm trying to navigate.
sorry.
Trying to
It's
navigate away.
I like bringing the joy to them, and I feel sentimental about
I
it,
love it. Yeah, yeah.
and I feel very strongly about how they're taken care of because I took care of one.
That's why I talk about why I say you're special. You're a very special person. You're not just a human. Like you're bigger than that. You're more than that to me, for sure. That's why I call you Madge, because you're not just a human being. You're something more. You're a magical entity.
Love you.
So I don't know how many podcasts you've been on, how many times you've been a guest on people's podcasts. What's the most common question that you're asked?
What do
What's
you
the
do?
question? What's the question you're sickest of being asked?
What do I do for a living?
You're tired of being asked that.
Tired.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just because I feel like I have a script of I do this,
Okay.
I do
Let,
this, I
let,
do this.
let me ask you, what do you want to do for a living?
I want to perform every day. I want to sing. I want to dance. I want to act.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Slot machines. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know how to play the games, but you pull the lever, the bells ring, and then you won something.
Yep.
Or you pull the lever and you'll lose all your money. Um, let's pull the lever and have the bells go off.
Pull the lever, Kronk. Yo, Gigi was so good at that. I, I wish she could be with me. Well, I mean, I did. I won. I won my bet that I placed on the Chiefs.
You did.
The
We got
Grand
we got to.
Shahi.
We're going there tomorrow.
Saturday.
Saturday. I don't even know what today is. I took.
It's Thursday.
What's
I
it
mean,
all mean?
what's it all mean anyway? Well, I think we did say Friday, but then we just decided to do it tonight. Um, but yeah, so yeah, man. Yeah, you took me out for my birthday. We gotta talk about that. What you mean?
We got to
My
talk about the
birthday this
birthday.
year. This year, yeah.
Okay. Okay. How? What are we gonna say about it?
How much of a queen you made me feel like, and you took me to the casino, and we had a nice little dinner at Liberty
Mhm.
Bell. Shout out to Brandon, the manager at Liberty Bell, and the food was absolutely amazing, and the drinks were great, and you you brought some extra monies with you, so like I could play a little bit and I could just enjoy, and you drove me everywhere
Mhm.
and was just to make sure I could enjoy myself, and you booked a room at our favorite place a month in advance. And when I say that does so many things to my body, that you planned something a month ahead. Oh my god. I was like, I mean, I know I was there when you made the call, but even from that moment, like that's when the foreplay started, right there. Like a month ago, it just chilling. You're like, oh, I booked it, and I'm like, oh, here it is. Like, and then there's just the build up, just the build up to my birthday, and you know, um, I just love us, and you know, you let me be so loud Like you didn't care that I wanted to wear my birthday sash 2 days after my actual birthday. Who cares? And wear my tiara walking around the casino like I'm hot shit. Cause I mean, I can be hot shit.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm
Yeah,
allowed to be. Everybody can feel like hot shit.
yeah, man. You I want you to be fully you. I don't want you to be anybody else. You being you is who I love the most. So I wouldn't want you to be anything besides who you fully are.
Yeah,
And I'd hope that everyone feels that about everybody that they've got. Like any hand you're dealt. I hope that that's the way you feel about anything you've got going on in your life. Not you specifically. I'm talking about
Mhm.
the general you. I want all the good feelings I have about my life and about my life that I'm sharing with you, all the great things, all the joy that I experience. I want all that for everybody. If anybody could just feel like a little even portion of that, like I feel like the world would be a happier, more joyous place.
for sure. Um, what else did you want to touch base on?
Um, we wanted to talk about aliens.
Oh, okay.
Yes. What is your thoughts on aliens?
I think they're real.
Yeah.
I know it. There's too much out there. There's too many things, especially with our technology advancing. There's too much,
The-
and looking back on the pyramids and stuff. Now there's no way. Like somebody had to do something.
yeah, it's tied in. It's tied in. And I think even like the most like crazy far out there sort of like fictional ideas,
Mhm.
every one of them comes back to like, oh yeah, and they're aliens too. Like like
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed. No, you didn't because you were working. So I noticed the theme. Okay, about to get real conspiracy theory on you people. Sorry. I noticed the theme watching the Super Bowl. There were more than one. There was more than one commercial that showed human interaction with aliens. Like for the most random products. Like there was no reason for you to create a story of a human interaction with an alien to sell a cell phone or whatever it was. There were a few different commercials and I was like apartments.com. Apartments.com. Why are they showing aliens coming down like they're looking like they want a place to live and they want to rent an apartment?
there
You know?
there was a Pepsi commercial. There was a Pepsi commercial with aliens in it, and they were like, "Bring me to your leader, your 2 liters of Pepsi.
Yeah, yeah. But see
Bring
that's
me to your
funny. But yeah,
bring me to your Doritos."
it was just funny. Kind of seeing that and of course like I'm always on scrolling on TikTok and finding all the things and people are like they try to tell us blah blah blah, especially since the government already like released that yeah they're there, they're real. And like nobody cares because we already knew. I mean, there's still no like credible photographic evidence, that I'm aware of that has been stamped by them, but they're there. Um, and so that's how I feel. I for sure I believe, and I kind of just wish they would come down and do something so we can stop paying taxes and bills. That'd be great. Just
Taxes and bills.
yeah, just uh, I'm on their side. You don't gotta probe me. Whatever you want me to do, I'll just go up the stairs in your little spaceship and whatever. I'll be your entertainer and I'll learn your song in Alien, Alienese. Um, but yeah, I think well for me, for the record, every time I think about that you're so real and you're in my life, I don't have words. It's like I'm so happy that I don't have enough to say. Like it's kind of like being like as if like you just won an award and you're like, I don't know what to say. Oh my god. Like it's like that every day with you. I feel like I won an amazing award and I'm just like, oh, I had no idea. Like I just or like, oh my god, I'm so overwhelmed. Like I really, truly, like I'm so grateful for you, and I say it every day, and I tell everyone how happy I am for you, and um, you you always find ways to exceed my expectations, even if I don't have them. You do something that I'm like, hey, if I didn't think I wanted that, I totally would have wanted that at some point, and he just did it. and and you're so good at like picking up on like just subtle hints that I'll drop sometimes, or maybe if I like deliberately, hey ladies, I don't know if you knew this, but you got to tell a guy what you want. Whoa, shocker. Like, oh man. Sorry, but it like this morning for instance, like I told you, like, you know, I'd like some coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and you went and made me coffee, like, because I like that from you, and I know like when you're here, like I just go and make you coffee or whatever. Like I like that we just one day you do it, one day I do. Like it's a constant like watering each other's plants. And you got me flowers for Valentine's Day.
We we got to hold each other's ladders up.
Yeah, and that's so
Yeah.
important, especially like during stress, man. I mean, and I know like, and I'm constantly working on that, constantly. Oh, that's something else I think we should touch base on for the timestamp of it all,
Mm-hmm.
and for me to be public about it. I'm taking medication, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been 3 months.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it sometimes is a roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there's good days and sometimes there's less good days. But
Yeah,
like as long as we communicate, I think
yeah,
we're good.
and but I do. I mean, you haven't noticed the difference,
Sometimes, I mean, I it's not it's not like you're not you. You know what I mean?
right?
Like it's like so it's still you. You know what I mean? It's not when you say there's a difference, it's not like completely unrecognizable difference. That's not the case. You know, but
That's,
I see. I see the ups and downs of it. You know what I mean? I see the ebb and flow of it.
I think, well, yeah, and it's difficult for me to like know whether or not, is it normal to have ebb and flows, or is it, a mental issue? But it is normal to have ebbs and flows. Like that's life, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's just been something hard for me to like understand. Um, because if I have a bad day, I'm like, oh man, you're a bad person. You're having a bad day, or oh, you should be more grateful, and like I hate to kind of like bring it up, but like sometimes when I am going through a difficult moment and it just happens, like I just find out that like this thing that I've been working so hard on just got ripped from me, and like
Mm-hmm.
I know you mean well when you say, hey, like it's not the end of the world, or hey, like you know there's other ways to skin a cat, or hey, like oh, you're having a really low emotional day today. It's not the thing that I want to hear right away,
Mm-hmm.
Like I need that time to process, and if I have to cry and get like super sad for that day, let me do that, cuz otherwise like I'm going to feel like my initial feelings of this moment that did not go my way are completely invalid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have to be shoved away because you feel like it makes you uncomfortable to see me in discomfort. And I know it
Mm-hmm.
does, but like when I'm in those feelings of discomfort, I need you to just hold that space for me. and just
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm going to get through it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I I I don't I'm gonna try to navigate this in a diplomatic way. Um, I I don't mean to ever make you feel like I'm trying to. I think that the thing about the emotions day that was just a couple days ago,
Hmm.
and you woke me up with emotions, and that's why that was the because I think I was scared,
Uh,
so I didn't mean that in a way to diminish whatever you were going through, but I think that uh, I was asleep and you woke me up with
uh,
with the emotions. So it wasn't like uh, don't feel these.
yeah.
I absolutely never want you to feel that.
Hmm.
I absolutely want you to feel your feelings when you're having them. I don't want to take that away from you, but I was just uh, sometimes I get a little freaked out, you know.
I'm
And,
sorry.
that's not what I. You don't have to be sorry. You don't have to be sorry. Uh, uh, that was basically what I was trying to say. I'm apologizing if my tone or my words weren't selected carefully enough because I was just shocked awake by
Mm,
you feeling those things.
hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and maybe, you know, I'll just be more conscious if I know you're just getting up, maybe not to talk about big things with you right away. But sometimes when I am in that, you know, if my therapist isn't around, like I I reach out to the next best resource, and that's you. And I'm sorry if that feels like any weight in any kind of way. I hope it doesn't.
No, no, I don't. I'm not complaining. I don't have complaints.
Okay. Um, but yeah,
In it,
you.
go ahead.
Not good.
Oh, I was just gonna say about hypothetically, I've gifted you this show. This is the first episode of your new podcast, the pilot episode of your brand new podcast, Evolving with Alyssa Marie, in a very Jerry Springer's final thought type of way. How would you take the most important messages and wrap them up in a pretty bow and send people home inspired to be a better versions of themselves?
You got to do the fold. You got to do the leg cross, right? Like what Jerry Springer did. Life is full of ebbs and flows and learning moments and opportunities to grow and to always rediscover yourself and always work on yourself and find out to keep peeling that onion on who you are. And eventually, you're going to get to the most flavorful thing, and that's your soul. And when you uncover your soul, that's when life really starts to be lived. And I hope that for each and every one of you, that you
Stay
can.
teachable, my friends.
Mhm.
I I I kind of skipped over the audio time travel part, but I feel like this whole thing is a little time capsule. You know, we're gonna have this. We're gonna
Yeah,
continue to have this, and
forever.
I love you, and I appreciate us, and I appreciate you, and I love our time, and I just I can't talk about how pleased I am without being a cheese bag.
Dude,
But
what? I love being cheesy with you.
oh yeah, cheese it up.
So much. That's the other thing that I wanted to say on the record. Thank you so much for letting me be so corny and cheesy with you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, um, like I always say, how grateful I am for the currency of your effort. Anybody, if this is your first time checking out Evolving with Cory Kastle, uh, thanks for coming in and spending the currency of your effort on me. I'd say subscribe to subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment, like, share, review, leave my 5 stars. Tell all your friends about me. I'm Batman. Tell your friends about me. And also, give me your best impression, baby. What's your
Who?
best impression? What is your best impression?
Pikachu.
Wait, hold on. Do the little girl from All Dogs Go to Heaven.
When she's on top of the dogs? Or
Sure. Yeah. No, because no, normally I say whatever your best impression is. You say the catchphrase of the show. And the way we close it out, we say, "Be fun, have safe, keep evolving." So you could say the Grant Shahi to win thing, and it's his birthday, and then jump into "Be fun, have safe."
Grand Chahi to win.
Be fun, have safe.
Keep evolving. Stay kind to yourself, man. Stay kind to everybody. Be fun, have safe. Keep evolving. Show's over.